Hi guys, tried to be normal here. It's September 16th, 2019, and I've got an article here for you from the Judicial Watch Chronicle or Corruption Chronicles page, dated September 12th, 2019. U.S. spends millions to train bomb-sniffing dogs gifted to Arab nations that abuse them. My first thought was, wait a minute, aren't Arab nations Muslim? Muslims hate dogs. It says here in the article, the U.S. government spends millions of dollars to train bomb-sniffing dogs, essential to federal and local law enforcement capabilities, but some are gifted to foreign countries that abuse them, often resulting in the spread of infection and premature death. Well, I don't know about you, but I've seen the pictures on the internet of Muslims nailing little dogs to crosses. Does anybody remember that one? And beating them to death with clubs. I would say that's a premature death too, wouldn't you? It goes on here, many of the American trained canines are severely underweight, live in squalid conditions, and suffer from untreated tick-borne disease because U.S. officials don't fulfill their duty of assuring the dogs receive proper care. In one disturbing case, a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois died of hypothermia while working at the Syrian border. Another was found emaciated in a Jordanian kennel, covered in feces and an empty water bowl. I don't know about you, but that's about what I expected to happen to dogs given to Muslims. Where's PETA on this? Oh yeah, that's right, they're hiding. It is a heartbreaking story involving the taxpayer-funded Explosive Detection Canine Program, EDCP, which also provides specially trained dogs to foreign nations, mostly Arabic, which makes no sense to me, under an anti-terrorism assistance project operated by the State Department. The goal is to enhance the ability of their law enforcement agencies to deter and counter terrorism. I would think that, given the facts, that most of these countries don't really care about deterring terrorism, so why would they want a dog to help them do something they don't intend to do anyway? The State Department, it says here, doesn't bother following up to ensure that the recipient nations are keeping their end of the agreement to adequately care for the precious animals. The sordid details resulting from the government's negligence are only public because the State Department IG received an anonymous complaint on its hotline. The watchdog launched an investigation and published the findings in a lengthy report that includes agonizing pictures of the victims in the custody of their foreign handlers. The department has expended millions of dollars in anti-terrorism assistance funds for the EDCP, but it does not ensure the health and welfare of the dogs after deployment, the audit states. This threatens the dog's ability to properly perform detection work and also creates risks to their well-being. You can go ahead and read the rest of this article. It goes on talking about how many EDCs are working in 13 partner nations, and some of them are trained by different agencies. Most of the bomb-sniffing dogs are in Jordan, the audit's primary focus. Others are in Lebanon, Egypt, Morocco, Indonesia, and Bahrain. Once a country is approved to receive a trained canine, the State Department Bureau of Diplomatic Security Office of Anti-Terrorism Assistance, try saying that in one breath, is supposed to perform a country canine assessment to determine the partner nation's abilities to operate the program. Jordan is by far the largest recipient of American-trained EDCs, according to the report. The problem is that the State Department doesn't have mechanisms in place to assure effective management of the health and welfare of the canines in the program. Aside from the humanitarian need to treat these animals properly, basic standards of health and welfare are critical to ensuring the EDCs can perform these important functions. To me, that sounds kind of callous, because it doesn't say, it says aside from humanitarian need. Their basic issue is the dogs aren't able to perform the important functions because they're starved to death or whatever the case may be. So they send them over there without monitoring them, and until somebody actually made a formal complaint, they didn't really care. As a result, it says here, several dogs have died prematurely. Many suffer from serious diseases. live in unsanitary kennels, and are overworked or malnourished. In their report, investigators documented disturbing conditions in the canine unit in Jordan. Especially CBC staff found a facility at police headquarters to be below standard. What does that mean anyway? Below standard. Below what standard? Below standard of decency? The kennels are not properly maintained to inhibit the spread of canine diseases. Parvo is rampant within the facility and the main cause for the canine deaths to date. The police are losing canines frequently to the disease and do not have the medical care required to treat it. What, they don't have vets in Jordan? Or even maintain healthy canines. The training observed was well below the needed methods to maintain a minimum standard. At another Jordanian facility, the dogs were severely overworked and required to search large numbers of vehicles without proper shelter, sanitation, and care. Several dogs died from heat exhaustion in a year. It's pretty obvious to me that they don't really give a rat's ass about these dogs. They don't care if they die. They just want to run them until they drop. After all, the Americans will give them more, right? I say, just in light of this article alone, I say we should pull all of our trained animals out of those Muslim areas and let them fend for themselves. Let them get down on their hands and knees and sniff out bombs for a while. See how they like it. Now that I'm sufficiently riled up, I'll see you later. Have a